Right now, wealthy families are leaving certain states. Quietly, without any announcements. No press releases, no interviews. Just moving trucks, property sales, and paperwork changing addresses. This isn't random. It's a clear pattern. And it comes down to one thing: money. Specifically, taxes. High earners are leaving certain states because staying is costing them too much, and moving is saving them millions. This kind of move isn't decided overnight. Wealthy families usually have accountants and financial advisors running the numbers for years before they actually pack up and leave. By the time the moving truck shows up, the decision was already made a long time ago, based on spreadsheets, not emotions. In this video, we're covering 5 states that wealthy Americans are leaving and the exact financial reasons behind it. We'll also look at where that money is going and why these particular states keep showing up in this pattern year after year. Let's get started. State number 1, California. California is the most well-known example of this trend. The reason is simple. California has one of the highest state income tax rates in the country. For someone earning several $million a year, that tax rate can mean losing millions of dollars over time, money that never gets reinvested or passed down to family. To put this in perspective, someone earning $10 million a year in California pays a noticeably larger tax bill than someone earning the exact same amount in a state with no income tax at all. Over a 10 or 20-year career, that gap adds up to a significant amount of lost wealth. For business owners and investors, that's money that could have gone toward growing a company, buying more property, or simply being passed down to the next generation.
On top of income tax, property taxes and the overall cost of running a business in California are high. Commercial rent, employee costs, and regulatory expenses all add up. For a business owner managing a large company, these costs compound year after year, making California one of the more expensive states to operate in.
Over the past several years, many business owners and executives have quietly relocated, following major companies that move their headquarters to lower tax states like Texas and Florida. When a company moves its headquarters, it's not just the business address that changes. Executives, key employees, and their families often relocate too, bringing their wealth, their spending, and their real estate purchases with them. This isn't a small trend. It's a steady, ongoing outflow of wealthy residents, most of whom leave without any public attention. Real estate agents specializing in luxury markets in states like Texas and Florida have reported a consistent stream of California buyers over the past several years, many of them paying in cash and closing deals quickly without ever listing their California property publicly first. State 2, New York. New York is our second state, and the tax burden here is even more layered. If you live and work in New York City, you pay state income tax and a separate city income tax on top of it. For someone running a business or managing investments in Manhattan, this means paying a much higher tax rate than someone doing the same job in almost any other state in the country. This combined tax burden becomes especially significant for people working in finance, where annual earnings can be extremely high. For a hedge fund manager or investment executive earning tens of millions of dollars a year, the difference between New York's combined tax rate and a zero income tax state can amount to millions of dollars annually. Over time, that difference becomes too large for many to ignore. For years, people accepted this cost because they needed to be near New York's financial center. Wall Street, major banks, and investment firms were all concentrated in one place, so living elsewhere wasn't practical. But that changed once major firms started opening real offices in Florida and Texas, not just small satellite locations, but fully functioning offices with hundreds of employees. Once that happened, many executives no longer needed to stay in New York to do their jobs. Most of this wealth is moving to South Florida specifically. Cities like Miami and Palm Beach have become major financial hubs because of this shift, attracting hedge funds, private equity firms, and wealthy individuals who previously would have never considered living anywhere but New York. Luxury real estate prices in these Florida markets have risen sharply as a result, with waterfront properties and gated communities seeing some of the fastest price growth in the entire country. State 3, Illinois.
Illinois is a state most people wouldn't expect on this list. The issue here isn't income tax, it's property tax. In many Chicago area suburbs, property taxes are among the highest in the country relative to home values. For owners of expensive homes, this tax burden can outweigh the home's appreciation over time, meaning the property actually loses money on paper once you account for the ongoing tax cost.
For a homeowner with a multi-million-dollar property, this can mean paying tens of thousands of dollars in property taxes every single year, regardless of whether the home's value is going up or staying flat. Over a decade or two of ownership, this becomes one of the largest ongoing costs of owning property in the state, larger in many cases than what homeowners in other states pay in total taxes combined. There's also concern about the future. Illinois has faced well-known budget and pension problems at the state level for years, with ongoing debates about how the state will address long-term funding shortfalls. Many wealthy residents pay close attention to these kinds of issues because state budget problems often eventually lead to tax increases somewhere down the line. Many are leaving now before any future tax increases can affect them, rather than waiting to see what changes might come. Most of this wealth is moving to nearby lower tax states first, such as Indiana or Wisconsin, as well as longer relocations to Texas and Florida. In many cases, business owners are relocating their entire company along with their personal residents, moving headquarters, employees, and operations together, rather than just changing their personal address while keeping the business in Illinois. State number 4, New Jersey. New Jersey carries two tax burdens at once, which makes it one of the most expensive states for wealthy residents. New Jersey has the highest average property tax rate in the country, meaning homeowners across the state pay more in property taxes relative to their home's value than in almost any other state. On top of that, the state income tax rate is also high, particularly for top earners. Together, this creates a heavy financial burden, even for residents who can technically afford it. For a family owning a large home in a wealthy New Jersey suburb, the combination of property tax and income tax can add up to a substantial yearly cost, often reaching well into six figures for the highest earners. This is money that, in a lower tax state, could instead go toward a larger property, additional investments, or simply be saved. For years, people justified staying because of how close New Jersey is to New York City. Many high earners worked in Manhattan and needed to live within a reasonable commuting distance, making New Jersey a practical, if expensive, choice. But remote and hybrid work have reduced the need to commute daily, and many families no longer see the value in paying that premium just to live near a city they only visit a few times a week. Much of this wealth is moving to Florida, following the same pattern as New York's departing wealth. Others are choosing states like North Carolina and Tennessee, which offer lower taxes while staying close enough to East Coast business connections to maintain professional relationships without paying New Jersey's combined tax burden. State number 5, Connecticut. Connecticut is our final state, and it has one of the most concentrated pockets of wealth in the country. Towns like Greenwich have long been home to hedge fund and finance professionals, with some of the highest concentrations of investment wealth found anywhere in the United States. This isn't a broad, general wealthy population. It's a specific, highly specialized group of finance professionals who manage extremely large amounts of money. Connecticut has a high estate tax, which specifically affects wealthy families planning to pass down large estates to the next generation. For families with estates worth tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, this estate tax can result in a significant portion of that wealth going to the state rather than to their children or grandchildren. For many, this single factor is enough to move their legal residency elsewhere well before any wealth transfer actually happens. What makes Connecticut different from the other states on this list is who is leaving. It's mostly finance professionals who already have the flexibility to choose where they officially live, even while continuing to work in New York on a regular basis. Because their work often doesn't require them to be physically present in Connecticut, changing their legal residency to a different state is a relatively simple decision compared to someone who needs to be near a specific office every day. Florida, with no income tax and no estate tax at all, has become the top destination for this group.
Many families are keeping their Connecticut homes as second properties, using them for summers or holidays, while no longer calling them their primary residence. This shift shows up clearly in real estate records, where high-value estate sales in towns like Greenwich are increasingly linked to owners who are relocating their official residency rather than fully leaving the area.
These 5 states share the same pattern: high taxes, whether through income tax, property tax, or estate tax, and wealthy residents who are choosing to leave because the numbers no longer make sense for them. This isn't a short-term trend tied to a single year or a single political event. It's a long-term shift in how wealthy Americans think about taxes, residency, and where they choose to build their financial future. And it lines up closely with where all of that wealth is moving to, which we covered in detail in our last video. Understanding this pattern matters, whether you're a business owner, an investor, or simply someone curious about how money moves across the country. These decisions, made quietly by individual families, add up over time to reshape entire real estate markets and local economies. If you found this useful, subscribe for more breakdowns on where money is moving across America.
Let us know in the comments which of these 5 states surprised you the most. See you in the next one.